Okay, then we start again. Some more participants. Well, that's great. Hello. Okay, very warm welcome to our workshop. I repeat myself again with the breaking title: Data-Driven Energy Transition, Digital Twins, System Resilience, and Decision Support for Planning the Energy Systems of Tomorrow. Yeah, very well welcome.
Even better.
yeah, the third time would be better, I guess. So we want to explore in this workshop how digital twins and data-driven platforms can enhance energy system planning, resilience, and coordination across areas. And we want to do this with the example of two projects that we want to introduce a bit more. This is the D2ET project from Luxembourg and the Melixa project. Well, but first of all, we want to introduce ourselves a bit. I start with myself. My name is Joachim Geske. I work at Finatex in Luxembourg, which is called SNT, at the University of Luxembourg. I'm a research scientist, and I'm on this project for the next couple of years. My special interest is in energy system modeling and energy storage. So I'm an economist from background, and this is my interest. And my colleagues.
I'm Cesar, and I come from Spain. I work in the Polytechnic University of Madrid, and I'm going to present the Melixa project, which is a national project in Spain. And I just finished my master's in telecommunications engineering, and I'm working as a researcher in the university in energy, in power systems areas in storage and flexibility.
And I'm Laura Andolfi. I am a research associate at the University of Luxembourg, and I work on the D2ET project, which is also the one I'm going to present. And my research focuses mostly on the inclusion of customers and citizens in the energy transition in different ways.
Yeah, this is great, and we'll come to you back with our. The previous one, please. I want to go through the agenda. So we'll have the introduction, which we are currently doing. Then we will present the Melixa project in a brief pitch, and the same thing for the D2ET project. And then we have a lot of time for a question and answers, discussion about specific topics related to these two projects. And then we will finally conclude. I think this is enough for the introduction. So, I think we are a bit many people to introduce everybody on their own. So I think we stay with the introduction of ourselves. And I would then start with the first presentation, which is the Melixa project.
Should I stand up or?
As you like, however you feel comfortable.
Okay, so I'm going to present the Melixa project. This is an EU-funded project, but it's a national project in Spain. It's about developing a distributed control platform for flexibility markets integration. So what does it mean? So we all know the need for flexibility in modern power grids, and the approach that we take in this project is to try to unlock flexibility that is already within the grid, in this case the Spanish grid. So try to use assets that are already there, residential consumers and in particular energy communities, to increase the flexibility of the power grid. So the idea is to develop a platform that gives energy communities tools so that they can use their assets to participate in flexibility markets. And it's a project funded by this initiative from the Spanish government. It's a consortium with the participants of the project. We got R2M Spain, some technological companies, Bamboo Energy, energy retailers like Mio Energia, then the Spanish electricity market operator, which is involved in more regulatory aspects, which is a very important part of it. And then the university and a research center. So as I said, the objective is to develop a platform that facilitates the use of assets in energy communities to give flexibility services. We can see the platform. The project is still started. It started in May, so we don't have a development yet or any result. But the idea is to develop a platform that does like three main tasks, three main things, which is control or develop control algorithms for energy communities to directly control the assets in the energy community. Then another block that uses aggregation to manage various energy communities and then be able to participate in the market. So that's a part of unlocking the flexibility. The problem in Spain is that in most flexibility markets there are requirements for minimum power, which in most flexibility markets it's 1 megawatt. So there's a lot of energy communities and more residential and small customers that don't reach that goal. And the idea is to use aggregation to at least reach that goal or have a significant amount of offering power to participate in the market. And then there's another block of market strategies and using the assets in the energy communities to go into them in the flexibility markets. So the objectives are, as you see there, first develop an innovative business model for flexibility. At least in Spain, the regulation on flexibility markets is still coming up. It's not very clear yet, at least in new flexibility markets. And here the project wants to contribute to advance in that point and push demand-side flexibility forward. They said it's focused on energy communities, on energy consumers, and providing, in this case, demand-side flexibility. Then also in the project, there's an energy retailer participating. So it's also tried to focus towards aggregators and energy retailers that can use the platform to manage the energy communities that they own. Facilitate, as I said many times already, the integration of local energy communities in flexibility markets. Implement optimal control strategies at building level. So in the part of controlling energy communities, the idea is to have to go into that with big detail. So directly controlling if they have a battery or the temperature control in a building, directly have devices that remotely control the consumption with the limits that we have, but directly controlling at the building level. And then finally validating the platform in real and virtual environments. This is the part where the digital twin comes in. In me personally, I'm in the university. The part we're working on is a digital twin of several use cases that I will present now to validate and to help develop the platform. So as I said, we have two use cases. We have two pilots. There are two small towns in Spain that have energy communities, and they have agreed to we can collect data from their facilities, and then once the platform is developed, the idea is to test it in real environments, so in the energy communities. The first one is Manzanilla, which is a small town. Well, an energy community in a small town. It has a generation, it has battery storage, EV charging, and then it has a library HVAC systems, that the idea is to find a way to develop control strategies for the temperature control. And in this case, we're developing also a digital twin of the energy community. This is the part that I'm working on. And the idea is to use it for validation, of course, but also for the optimization of the control algorithms and the market strategies that will come up in the project. In the second case, it's another energy community, but in this case, the focus is on water pumps, so the water system. And in this case, the idea is to only build a digital twin of the system. So in this case, the idea is to use the water pumps to give flexibility, power flexibility. And in this case, the idea is just to build a digital twin of the water pump network and use it to validate the platform and to develop the platform and optimize it. And yeah, that's it. We have a LinkedIn page if you're interested in following it. There's a name, and any questions, I can answer them also. So thank you.
Maybe we should take the opportunity, because the presentation is really fresh. If you have some questions right now, then please ask.
You mentioned in Spain, so the regulation is not completely ready yet for flexibility. So what is missing?
I mean, so we have like frequency regulation and the basic markets we have, but we don't have capacity markets. The local flexibility markets is something that is far from happening.
Okay.
And then not directly flexibility, but in other areas like aggregation is not yet really defined at the level that it needs to be defined. Even energy communities are a bit ambiguous. Yeah,
I had the impression that Spain was really ahead of everything.
No, in the
So
regulation
coming
part,
from also in Spain, they put it as a strategic focus for them. And compared to France, for instance, I had the impression that you were early.
but well, in my experience, the regulation is still.
And does it differ for by region, let's say, or it's for
No, it's national.
national scale?
Yeah, any further questions?
Regarding the digital twin, are you using existing softwares, elaborating your own codes, or a mix?
I'm developing we're developing our own codes, but for example, for what I've been working in the last couple of months is the modeling of the thermal or the temperature control of the building, and I'm using Energy Plus, which is a simulation tool from the US. We'll try to develop our own models, but in the thermal part, it's a bit complex maybe we don't have the time or the resources to develop a whole. So we'll try to make our own, but then use some extra.
Thanks.
Yeah, maybe another question. So for the first use case, so how would it look like then? So who's controlling the devices and who's selling them? How does it work? How is your platform then involved? Could you describe it for me as economist, how it works?
The idea is it's an energy community with some solar panels, some battery. Then there's the HVAC systems of the public buildings or the residential houses.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is to put each of those systems have points that interact with the power grid. So the idea is to put devices there that can control the consumption or the.
Okay, the devices control based on an algorithm that you're developing, then the control algorithm.
Exactly. For example, in the case of a temperature control of you have the thermostat, and in that case, the idea is to you can modify the temperature of the thermostat to consume more energy or less energy, and provide flexibility. So when the system operator says you
okay.
in
So
the market,
this is who controls the control system. So this was in a sense my question. So the system operator would give a signal, and then you would initiate things, or are you optimizing with respect to revenues, or how is this?
so the idea is to participate. To you have the energy community, and then you make a study of the flexibility that you have with the energy community and participate in the market. And then in the flexibility market, if you have an accepted offer, the system operator then can activate that offer signal. Then when you get that signal, the platform is the one that would deaggregate that signal and then say, okay, the battery has to do this, the solar panel this, the EV charging that, by remote control.
Okay, this is not possible in a structured way so far, right? Or your add-on is exactly what.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the challenges, the replicability of this type of control algorithms. I think each energy community it's different, has different characteristics, and also in the digital twin part, it's going to be difficult to develop something that is generalist or replicable in other.
Okay.
Places.
I have a question. So why in the second energy community you're only modeling the water tank?
Because that's what they have. That's the is what they have and what they can gain from it. I wasn't involved in the negotiating with the people in the energy community, but I assume that's the important flexible power asset that they have, and what they can show us, or what they can give the data about. I think that's the reason.
Okay. Anything else? Any further questions? Okay. Really? Okay, then maybe we proceed with the second pitch.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the NICER D2P project. So NICER stands for the National Center of Excellence in Research, and D2T stands for Data-Driven Energy Transition. So this is an initiative at the Luxembourgish level for research and innovation. Is co-financed by the National Fund for Research, and the goal of the project is to deliver a digital twin of the energy system of Luxembourg. The project will last 8 years in total, and it's going to be structured in 2 phases. So the first 3 years will be to build the foundation, and then the next 5 will be for the scale up and also to deepen the impact of the project. So why do we need a project like this? There are several reasons. So Luxembourg is at the turning point of its energy transition because, first of all, the country depends a lot. I think it's the first country in Europe for imports of electricity. So we are almost entirely relying on other countries for electricity and also gas. And this makes the country really vulnerable to price shocks, supply risk, and also geopolitical tension, as we saw in the latest years. Then at the national level, but then also the European level, there are very ambitious climate goals that we have to meet. So, for example, the country committed to reducing the greenhouse gas emissions by 55% in 2030, and this is only a few years away. So it means that it's really time to take big decisions as fast as possible. Then another problem is that the energy system is becoming more and more complex because, for example, we are dealing with multiple energy carriers. There is gas, there is electricity, hydrogen is upcoming, heat. And this is happening in many different sectors. For example, there is mobility, the construction sector, so buildings and industry. And then there are new technologies which are emerging, and yet we are still missing one tool to really explore how all of these factors are interacting and how we can best plan for all these changes. So the ministries, the municipalities, the energy operators, they are all in front of these kind of questions. So what are the solutions which are the most cost-effective and reliable? What are the trade-offs for the society? How can we make sure that the energy transition is fair in the end? And for now, there is no shared platform where all these stakeholders can use as a support to, plan and even collaborate. So this is what D2T is here to change. And the idea is to give Luxembourg the digital, scientific, and collaborative foundation that the country needs to navigate this transition in the end. So we have to imagine a country where the energy is not only clean, but is also affordable, is reliable, and is accepted by everybody. And so the mission of the project is really to accelerate the energy transition of Luxembourg, but in a way that is sustainable, cost-effective, and also socially inclusive. And the idea there is also to help all the stakeholders, which is the government, the citizen, policymakers, to make data-driven decisions, which are better informed. And we want to do this by using the country's expertise in energy, in computer science, and in social sciences. So the vision is not only focused on Luxembourg as a country, but also to put it in the context of the European Union, and so to position the country as a leader in smart and data-driven energy transformation. So to also be an example that other countries could follow in case when they will need it, because they will. So more specifically, the project objectives are built around four main pillars. So the first one is accelerating the energy transition with a national platform. So the idea is to create really this digital platform, which is going to be co-designed with public and private partners to support the transition through data, technology, and collaboration, at the same time while ensuring the real socioeconomic value for the country. And this will also need to address the technical challenges which are related to this kind of platform, so the collection and harmonization of data, the modeling of complex energy systems, and the development of predictive tools. Then, for the second point, we want to make sure that we improve decision making through co-creation and engagement. So really putting an emphasis on collaboration between the different stakeholders of the country, from institutions to citizens, to really co-develop this platform. Then the third point is about understanding the impacts of the energy transition, because it's not only a technical issue, but also a socioeconomic one. So we need to make sure that we know how to anticipate how different market designs are going to affect the society, the regulations, while also taking into account the environmental aspects, So there are really a lot of factors which come into play. And then finally, the idea is to ensure long-term value and outreach. So to go a bit beyond the research and to make sure that this research is then exploited, is applied, and that the project benefits the society in a wider way. Now, very quickly, a look at the financial and human resources. So the total budget of the project is 30.2 million for 8 years. As I said before, it's co-financed by the National Research Fund of Luxembourg. And then we have many partners, which are both private and public. And also at the level of capacity building, we have now around 60 experts which are involved, and we are hiring new PhDs, new postdoc only in the first phase. And a bit more specifically, what is this platform going to look like? What is it going to be? It's going to be a shared space to test new ideas together among stakeholders. So it is designed for researchers who can use it to develop and experiment with new solutions. Companies will also use it to see how to test new energy technologies before actually making the investment and see what is going to happen in advance. For policymakers, because then they will be able to have insights to see what's going to happen when they change the regulations. And then finally also for the citizens, because they will be able to see what happens with their data and also to be more involved in the energy transition. So for in the first phase, we are building this version of the digital twin, focusing on 3 practical scenarios, because we want to use them to test and demonstrate that the solution we are developing works, and to see how the science, the technology, and the society can work together. So these scenarios will help us to move from the big picture to see how the digital twin actually works in practice and how it can actually be useful. And then in the second phase, we will add some new scenarios, such as optimizing renewables and connecting different sectors, and put a very strong focus on data governance, the models, and then the platform itself. So let's take a look at these scenarios. So in the first one, we are going to evaluate how whether it is better to focus on heat pumps or district heating to change the way there is heating in the country, because it needs to change anyways to go towards electrification or district heating to meet the climate goals. And there is a trade-off between centralized and decentralized solution. So this is going to help us develop informed solutions through the digital tool that we are building. And the goals here are to develop a twin, which is going to give us a simulation framework for the heating solutions, and also to model the practical use cases of the energy transition challenges, and also to enable a smooth integration of the findings in the second phase then of the project. Then the second scenario aims to assess what is going to happen when we are going to see the integration of multiple sources of energy into the energy system. So some we already have, we have electricity, we have gas, but we want to understand what happens when we also integrate heat and hydrogen, and who knows what else will come in the next 8 years of projects. So here the reason why we are focusing on this scenario is that we want to see how we can manage the operational complexity that this entails, and the social impact, the technological advancement, and the regulatory frameworks. And the goals here will be to identify the synergies, have a comprehensive understanding of the energy system, to foster reliability, resilience, and also flexibility, and finally to align the national and EU energy policy. And then finally, the third scenario is about the deployment of energy communities. This links a bit also to what Cesar was saying. So to see how the decentralization can be included into the transition and foster local autonomy, stakeholder empowerment, and also align with the regulation. And the goals here are to understand how, where, when to establish energy communities in Luxembourg in the way that is the best for the country, and see what kind of technologies we should integrate into it, to develop IoT-enabled tools and platforms, model the different aspects of energy communities, and also see how they can provide services such as flexibility to reduce then the grid investment. Now, the idea of this project is really to support decision making and also to evaluate what is going to be the impact of this twin. For this reason, we are also implementing living labs into it. What does it mean? That for each scenario, there will be a space where the society, the researchers, and all the stakeholders will be able to co-create and experiment together with the twin, seeing, really moving from exploration to action and seeing what happens when we change things, and not only testing ideas, but also understand how all these different decisions will affect the life of the people. And we will also use it to assess the societal and environmental impacts of the energy transition. So this will be done using different evaluation dimensions. So we are going to see whether users are engaged and satisfied, if the decisions are faster and better informed, if the platform can actually deliver reliable results and the return on investment, whether it supports learning and innovation. And we are going to answer these questions with different methods. So we are going to have surveys, we're going to have group discussions, multi-criteria analysis, and all of these combined with human insights. And finally, what we deliver is really system level value, because this twin is going to support resilience and energy sovereignty at the country level, but also in the future at the European level. Technology transfer is going to improve policy design and really enable in the long term a sustainable and secure transition. And then more concretely for Luxembourg only, the goal is to empower policymaking, lower CO2 emissions, improve the planning with real-time situation, make it also more transparent for the citizens who are going to, the goal is for them to understand a bit better what is going on with the transition, and foster research and innovation, and also ensure that the market design is driven by data. So this is really going to give an immediate and visible impact for everybody involved. Thank you very much, and we hope to keep in touch. So here there are our contacts in case anybody is interested.
Yeah, do we have any questions about the project? Any immediate ones? So not me, probably, because I'm too involved.
So probably you said it in the first slide, but I missed it. When did the project start?
This year.
Okay. And do you have utilities on board?
Yes, we have the Luxembourgish, the major Luxembourgish electricity supplier, the grid operator, and also other smaller suppliers. So we are trying to really involve every stakeholder possible.
And did you already approach the issue of non-disclosure agreements regarding data? I'm working on a similar project at a really, really smaller scale, and we have a lot of problem with the utilities and other subjects because they are not willing to share their data, not just for matter of privacy, because you can aggregate them, but also because they have a commercial value. If I tell you in a really small area what is the volume of gas or energy stored, other companies might see. And did you already approach these issues or not?
So we've been dealing with this kind of problems since also before this project, because in other project we had the same. But the thing is that this project is also going to help them. So it is an exchange, and we hope that we manage to get a good amount of data this time.
Thanks.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, and maybe indeed it's a very specific situation in Luxembourg because the market share of the major utility is, I think, 90% or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so Luxembourg specific is also that everybody has a smart meter. This is completely different to Germany, for example, which also makes it, the data accessible, way more accessible than if you had nothing. I think these are two specific points that will have an impact, or that will have, very specific, that make our approach very specific.
Where is the project you mentioned? In which
Milan.
one? In Milan. Okay. And at the end, did you manage to solve this problem?
At the moment, we achieved an agreement, and we will receive from the local utility that aggregated at on areas which are, we call them NIL, but it's a unit in the urban master plan. There are, let's say, 77 areas in Milan, and we have the data for the whole area.
Okay. And what about you? You need also, of course, very specific data from your participants within the energy communities. Do you have issues there, or is there?
I think there were no issues. I think they managed to set up devices to obtain data from the consumption and the movement of all the devices that are of interest. And this is now one of the things that is finishing now. So I think there was no problem there in getting the data, because the contact is with energy communities, independent energy communities. So there's no. I don't think it's the same situation or the same problem.
But you need to cover privacy issues anyway, right? But I'm not the legal expert.
I'm sure, yeah, but I think when you talk to an independent energy community, so it's a small town, and the energy community is managed by the town council or the neighbors. I think they may be more open to collaboration in that sense. They don't have business interests.
And in your case, I don't remember, you have involvement as well of DSO or retailers? Or?
We have one retailer,
okay.
And then the market operator in Spain.
As well, okay.
Yeah.
But then, since you mentioned these are independent small communities, what's their role then? They still need to have a view, and it has an impact on their grid, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course, we have to be in the validation and in the intervention. We have to be careful. And I think I haven't been in that part of the project in Spain with them, but yeah, I'm guessing there's some limits there. For example, in the energy communities, I think they come from the retailer that has made those contacts, and the two pilots. For example, in the second one, the validation or the interaction is just going to be through the digital twin, for example. There's not going to be real intervention in the actual facilities. In the first one, yes, there's going to be a digital twin, and then hopefully the platform can be deployed or used in the real place.
And maybe another, so maybe you're talking a bit about your project, but are there several disciplines involved in your research team with respect to the things you want to reach, or are you specifically engineering with an engineering background? Or
My team is in the university. It's just the engineering background. We have a small team, and it's mainly people that come from the university, from engineering background.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a bit about the collaboration. So you do you have any issues with communication within your project? If several disciplines are involved, then you might experience.
Yeah, but I think that the project is structured so the different partners. So there's different disciplines in partners in my university, and the disciplines I think are well separated in the parts of the project. So the communication is easier because internally each partner has its task, and then the communication between tasks is more not on a very detailed level, or where there is need for detailed communications. Maybe it's more in the technical part, and it's between two partners that have good engineering basis. But yeah, because for example, the market part is developed by one of the partners, and internally they can deal with.
Okay. And so, anticipating a bit the answer, what would you say, Laura, is this aspect in our project or in the D2ET project? So more partners involved with this different background, and how would you describe the issues and the problem solutions there?
I think, first of all, that it can add a lot of value to have different partners involved, because it is difficult, especially at the beginning, to understand each other and understand what the others are doing. But then once you manage to somehow find a common language and simplify as much as possible the concepts, and really make sure that you understand, opening the minds helps a lot, trying to understand what the others are doing, and when the others do the same, it brings really a lot of advantages than staying in silos and working only on your own discipline.
Because I saw that the analysis is very broad within the project, so we're going from social aspects to very technical aspects. So okay, this is a bit different from within the projects.
Yeah.
I think in that sense, that your project is a much bigger project. I think there's a big difference there. The Visa project, it's a relatively small project. We have 6 partners, so the coordination, the communication, maybe that makes it a bit easier.
But I think that is also why now we are investing a lot in spending time talking to each other, talking to the other work packages, to all the project partners. We need this phase to understand what are the goals of everybody and how to align all of this. But it will be nice to hear from everybody in the public if you had similar experiences and how you deal with it.
I was wondering for you, so it's national funding as well from Spain, but do they ask you to network at EU level to benchmark?
It's on a national level, but through...
so you had the EU logo as well?
Yeah.
So which type of funding is that?
I think it's called the Next Generation. And so I don't know if that's, Next Generation EU.
Next Generation, okay. But then you have only a consortium made of full Spanish partners, right?
Yeah. So I'm not sure how it, I apologize because I started working a couple of months ago and I'm not sure about how this works exactly, but
Okay.
from my understanding is funded by the Spanish government, but through EU,
For you, yeah.
through EU funds. I guess the Spanish government has the funds through this initiative.
I had in mind that there is no more national funding anyway in Spain, right? Everything comes from the EU.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And you think you are the only project of this type in Spain, or did they fund many similar projects like yours?
There's I think the initiative funded many projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you have a kind of small network of projects.
Yeah, yes.
Interesting.
I have something to say about what you said about the collaboration, because actually I'm also involved in D2ET, and I remember one discussion that we had about the platform that is being developed. The fact that some disciplines are discussing, I remember that the person who was the social background was really careful about the acceptability of this platform. So I was thinking that the collaboration also ensure that what is developed will have an impact at the end, because if we just think about the technical aspect, then what about the adoption of this? So yeah, it's
I guess a broader, so we integrate different perspectives on the whole project, and we don't have as risk of forgetting an important perspective. Right?
yes, totally.
We also need to understand what is needed by the policymakers, like what do they want, how do they want the information to be presented, because otherwise we risk that we develop something which is super cool, maybe for the researchers, but then the policy people will be like, okay, what do I do? How do I use this? So it's really nice.
Yeah, and I think it's really important in every project to give this space to, for example, if we organize a technical coordination meeting, it's really important that we just not involve technical parts, but also the social aspects.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's kind of good practices that we have to have in each project to really involve all the aspects, maybe not in each meeting, but in the kind of big decision and big aspects of each project.
Agree.
Yeah, from my perspective, also we are doing two things at the time in our project. I don't know how it is in your project. So we have a component with the scenarios where we kind of doing a kind of consultancy, just aside from the thing that we deliver in the end. There's maybe a value for the for our partners already, so for the grid operators or so. Like the multi-carrier thing and energy communities or the heat pump. And there is also the deliverable, the physical deliverable in the end that comes out from our project. So do you have a similar structure, or do you think it's really the final product that you will deliver your platform?
The main goal is to develop the final platform. I think that we have identified some other results that can be, as you said, can be of use for the partners. I think the digital twin, we're trying to find a way to package that as something that can be a result, that can be something of its own. But yeah, I'm not sure we have the same structure, but yeah, maybe the same approach.
And if you have this delivered this, or if you have produced this outcome, do you have any strategy how to make sure that this is really going into practice somehow, or is it simply done in the end? Because the background is that so two of our colleagues changed to the dark side of the force, and they work for us, and they told me that this is really an issue within the companies to to make sure that developments are really find their way into practice somewhere. They have no answer yet to these things, and they ask me, do we have something like this? I want to proceed with this question.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult question, but I think what we've been saying about collaboration, I think involving different partners, if you involve a retailer, the market operator, some researchers, maybe you can make sure that it's useful in the end. So if many partners get involved, I think that's a sign that it may be useful, or there's at least more certainty that it has a future. Whatever you're making, involving different disciplines, I think it's a good way of solving that.
Do we see that we are thinking about these things? But we should at least, right?
I think we are, and something that I really like about this project is that the development of the platform is starting already. So people are already moving to do it and not waiting that we collect all the data and we collect everything. Like build a prototype and then improve it slowly with the different feedback from the ones who are going to use it. I think this really helps to make things more practical in the end and to make things advance.
I have a question. Do you see, I mean, you just met as a project, but do you see a point on which you could collaborate, Melissa and Intuity, or?
I think there's similar projects in the sense, maybe in the sense that some of the things within Melissa are included in the project, because you're doing like a digital twin of the whole network of Luxembourg, as I understand, and we're doing a digital twin of an energy community, so I think there's some overlap there, and I think in that part there's some point of collaboration or in demonstrations or further from there.
I think it makes sense because we can, maybe learn from you the specifics about energy community, but then you could learn from the DPT more how to integrate these energy communities into a wider energy system when needed. So I would say that there is potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it would make sense to stay in contact with these things.
Because you have a more system-like approach, right? A more general approach.
Yeah, but for the next 3 years, one of the main focuses are energy communities.
Yes.
It would be nice to see also what are the differences between Luxembourgish energy communities and the Spanish ones. Also, in vision of making this idea of the digital twin open also for other countries. It's a nice way to see, okay, does it the same? Is it easy to integrate it or not?
I think I'm trying to, from where I've been trying to conceptualize and think about the digital twin. Ideally, me personally, but of course in the project, the ideal case, we would make a generalized digital twin that could serve for any energy community. I think that's going to be difficult, but maybe collaborating, we can go to see the similarities and see how it's developed in Luxembourg and in Spain, and see how we can approach that.
Yeah, closer contact between the scenario and you would be desirable. Good, yeah, I think we can manage this to the scenario manager of this
And actually, I'm thinking about the international workshop that you are organizing. I know it's kind of focusing on the small countries, but I don't know if there is a space, maybe have some feedback from Elisa or something like this, or maybe it's out of the scope, I don't know. I'm just thinking.
We can think about it. Like for now, it's more on the small countries,
Yeah.
and then also barriers for startups.
Yeah.
But the idea is also to, open the scope.
Yeah.
So if at a certain point we also work with scenario 3, we will see. But
Yeah.
You're not including any market issues, okay, because you're only focused on energy communities only, right? So you're not anticipating market reactions or people's behavior in your modeling approach.
In the digital twin, you mean, or
Yes,
in
for
general,
example,
the
yes.
platform?
In your platform.
No, in the platform there's going to be like one of the parts is market strategy and how to use the data from the energy communities to participate in the different flexibility markets in Spain. So I'm sure maybe in that part of the project there's some of what you say.
Okay.
Some behavior, but at least in my part of it, in the digital twin part, we will try to introduce some behavioral modeling, but more related to how the electrical installations behave as a function of people using them, going in and out of buildings, or more in that sense.
Okay, because I wanted to know this, as with our approach, it is that we are also integrating market aspects, and the modeling there differs a lot from the engineering parts. And I wanted to know a bit about how you're managing these things, but basically this doesn't play such a big role in your approach. Because so far I see that the economic approach to these aspects, like market reaction, would anticipate changes in the regulatory environment and also in the technological environment. And this makes things a lot more complicated than just, in a sense, predicting the temperature of a building.
Yeah, but when I said that, I talked about my part of it, but I think what you said, the regulatory aspect, is a big part of Melixa, because so the idea is to develop a platform that a product that can be used to participate in the market. So of course, the structure of the markets and the regulatory advances in the next years, which should be a lot, at least in Spain, it's going to evolve, and in the rest of the world also. So yeah, I think that's a big part of our project to adapt, or at least try to predict or build a platform so that not for the current situation, but for the future situation of the markets and the power system.
Okay. So this would be also interesting for me to see how this is done, implemented here. Because we're still in initial phase within the D2ET project, and I'm not 100% sure how these things align with that kind of black box thinking from the engineers, and these a bit more broader consideration from the economists that anticipate the technology already, and reactions to this are then seen relevant for the behavior on markets, for example. This reflected in the prices finally. And so we have a lot of feedbacks and recursions.
I think in that sense we're in a similar situation.
Okay. Yeah.
The project started, and yeah, I'm sure that's an issue that's going on in the project.
And what you said earlier about the regulation integration, how are you going to integrate it in the twin?
Specifically for the twin, I'm not sure it's going to be an issue because the idea for the digital twin is to make a digital twin of how the electrical facilities of an energy community behave. So in specific for the digital twin, the inputs and specifications are going to be more of only focusing on the electrical part or the technical part, I would say. Just how the battery behaves, how the thermal system behaves, but from a technical point of view. Then the platform that uses the data from the energy communities, that's going to have more the part of integrating all the inputs from the markets, from regulations, from all that other areas.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question. It's more of curiosity. Are there many energy communities in Spain? Because in Italy there are just a few pilot cases of energy communities because there is a lot of paperwork, let's say, to create an energy community. So at least in Piemonte region there are, I think, just 2 or 3 pilot cases as energy communities. So I'm just wondering how many energy communities there are in Spain.
In Spain, not many. In Spain, what we have a lot is, well, first, I think in what I was saying earlier, the concept of energy community, I don't think it's very well defined. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have a lot of experience in that sense, but what we have in Spain a lot is self-consumption buildings or communities, which maybe are not energy communities, but that is a big part of in the last couple of years. So buildings or neighborhoods that install generation, and there's a well-defined self-consumption regulation. So the self-consumption part is I think there's a lot of it in Spain, but energy communities per se, maybe not that many.
Same as
Yeah,
in
maybe the same.
we have a lot of, let's say, examples of maybe multi-family houses, which are actually self-consumption buildings, but not that many energy communities. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, any further questions, ideas? So I think we got 2 interesting connection points to your project. I think with this feedback stuff, I would be interested in how you deal with it. And the other one is energy communities for us. So I think we have definitely identified two
For sure, I think
connection points that would be well interesting for us, for you maybe as well. I don't know. And
yeah, of course, for the ability of the digital twins, I think at least in the first stages for me, it's a bit difficult to conceptualize how to build it. And again, one of the things that I thought about most is how to build something that is transferable to other situations. I think that's a good point of collaboration there.
good. Yeah, any further comments or ideas, questions? Okay, I think everybody's happy. Probably looking out for the weekend to come. And, I can see that. Yeah, so I have no further points. Yeah, great to meet you and also the audience. And thank you very much for participation. And yeah, we will follow up. I think good 2 points.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.